I now have the honor of introducing a friend and colleague as the third speaker. Aleksa. She spent the first 15 years of her life growing up in communist Poland before moving to the US and being a wild teenager, as she put it in her words. Within 2 weeks of arrival, Aleksa was attending an American high school and dealing with all the culture shock that comes along with that. But that she still went on to earn a master's in biochemistry, have 3 children, and now works as a software engineer for Lockheed Martin. But along with these successes came something that almost defeated her battle with addiction. She won that battle and now wages a glorious war to obliterate stigma by empowering people who are struggling, people in recovery, and the loved ones who support them. Aleksa.
Oh my Lord, what an honor, what an intro, holy shit. I'm just a normal person. Thank you so much. Thank you for Pivot Ministries for doing this amazing performance. I was ready to come up here and just cry the entire time, and that would not be really good, right? Because how hopeful would that be, showing recovery crying here? Thank you, John. I only vaguely remember that day in the summer of 2015. It was muggy, sticky, scorching hot, and quite uncomfortable. But the summer heat was the least of my struggles. I haven't left the house in days. I haven't spoken to anyone except my sister. After many stints in treatment, hundreds of unfulfilled promises, and countless unsuccessful attempts to string few sober days together, I had begun to believe I was too damaged and started to push everyone away. And I'm gonna cry. I remember feeling so sad about seeing neighborhood kids walking with their moms over to the nearby lake. I was angry too. Why can't I be like them? Why can't I just be normal? Instead, my beautiful munchkins were stuck at home with me, a shadow of a human, an unpredictable stranger, a once upon a time awesome mommy who was fading away bit by bit, day by day. Faced with being isolated from others as well, they were forced to create an imaginary world around them and make themselves believe that everything was okay. Not only taking care of each other, but frequently watching over me as well. They should have hated me, so why do they still love me? I hated me. I was weak. I was ugly. I was selfish. I was disgusting. I was pathetic. I was a liar. I was a monster. I was phony. I was a cheat. I was an imposter. I didn't listen. I didn't follow. I didn't try hard enough. I didn't go. I didn't call. I didn't do it. I must have been evil. Only an evil person could cause her children such pain. I felt like I was possessed by the most powerful demons, something like the Dementors from the Harry Potters, literally sucking my soul out. While my mind was screaming, most definitely going insane, my body was slowly dying. There was no hope for me. Finally, I began to give up. Thankfully, my amazing sister, a human angel, was relentless and refused to let me go. She continued to fight for me, showing up on my front doorsteps again and again and again. On that sweltering day in 2015, Barbara came to check on me yet again. I was pretty ill, fragile, somewhat delusional. She looked into my empty eyes, wrapped her hands around me, and said, "You gotta fight, Aleksa. I know that you're somewhere in there." I responded with massive tears going down my cheeks. Barb, I don't have the strength anymore. Please, just let me go. But of course she wouldn't. I almost died that time. And if it wasn't for Barb, and if it wasn't for her unconditional love, if it wasn't for her ability to see me underneath all that ugly symptoms of addiction, I wouldn't be standing here today with you telling my story. Hi, my name is Aleksa. And I'm beyond grateful to have another chance at life. With the unconditional love of my sister, the extraordinary resilience of my children, I was able to find my way into long-term recovery on July 19th, 2015. Addiction is a fatal disease. Over 250 people die from it every day, and I was almost one of those statistics. I'm an intelligent, educated, successful professional. I have done and achieved many great things in life. I have a good heart. I'm fun to be around with. I'm endlessly curious. And there is nothing missing or lacking. There was nothing missing or lacking from my life to prompt me to use substances for any reason. But my brain is wired differently from others. And while my struggles began with alcohol, the progression of my illness ramped up, allowing addiction to trap me fully in its claws. But few things happened to make me decide to become open about my recovery. First, I attended a sober concert called Recovery Fest in Rhode Island in 2018. Macklemore was the headline performer. There were 10,000 people in recovery in that concert. All ages, ethnicities, backgrounds. Seeing so many people in recovery who were once in the same dark place as I was changed me. On that day, my entire being changed. I was no longer a victim. I was a survivor. Shortly before the concert, I watched Greg Williams' film, The Anonymous People, which inspired me to join the recovery movement and live 100% as my authentic self and open about my struggles with addiction and being in recovery today. Around the same time, I read Ryan Hampton's book, American Fix. In his last chapter, titled Rise Up, either America changes or we change America. Ryan knows and inspired me how to get involved and how to make changes locally and nationally. Greg, Ryan, and Macklemore ignited the spark in my heart. I finally realized I was never a bad person. I was just a sick person who needed help. It became clear to me that there are thousands of people in our local communities who are struggling like I did. Many are too ashamed to ask for help, feel so much guilt about having the disease, so they hide and suffer in silence, just like I did. This was my cue. I was determined to help, but I had no idea how. As many of you know now, that what and how is my Glorious Recovery Foundation, and my team is here, so stop by the table after. Little plug. And forgive me if you've heard this quote before. John always talks about it, but maybe he read my speech, so he didn't. This is a keystone of my recovery and inspiration behind Glorious Recovery. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it is a human connection, by Johann Hari. But if the only connections you're making are with people using substances, recovery would be much harder. And for people in the early recovery, the brain connects pleasure with substances. So how do we change that? So how do we connect people seeking recovery and find ways they can have fun without substances? By hosting super fun events centered around just that. Glorious Recovery hosts parties and concerts and trips to ice castles in New Hampshire. A month ago, we took 100 people to Yankees versus Red Sox game at the Yankee Stadium. Go Yankees. So from my own experience, I know that social gathering full of laughter and human connections are very healing, both emotionally and physically. Thus, one of the most important aspects of Glorious Recovery is to encourage every individual to bring their kids, their significant others, their besties, and include them in the recovery journey, allowing them to enjoy substance-free life and experience with their own eyes how amazing recovery truly is. Hang out with us and you'll know. I'm also taking my recovery work with me every day today. Literally. Corporate America is wealthy, powerful, influential, and they need to step up. They need to be more receptors to support treatment and recovery. So one of the initiatives that I have been working on for past couple of years is pioneering recovery-friendly workplace at my company, Lockheed Martin. Off the script here, Paul and Jackie were probably like freaking out because for the past 2 weeks, I was doing just that. So they're calling me and, texting me and Facebook messaging me, and they're like, oh my God, like she has an important job. Where the heck is Aleksa, right? And I have actually been working on creating a global campaign to launch first ever Recovery Month at Lockheed Martin. So I'm pretty excited, and I was, up to like 3 a.m. in the morning, finishing the comms and launching it out, and some emailing, posting, all that jazz, and it's pretty incredible. So Lockheed Martin is probably one of the, it is the first company of that size that is actually acknowledging this work, substance use disorder being an illness, recovery actually being possible, and Recovery Month being real. Like a lot of people didn't believe me that Recovery Month is a thing. So I had to send them the proclamation from President Biden, which was published yesterday. I kid you not. So the program is meant to provide sufficient and adequate support programs for those impacted. So that includes me, people who struggle, that includes family members, that includes families of loss, and anybody interested, so that prevention part is also included. And also creating a zero stigma culture. I don't want one employee to be afraid to go to work and leave their recovery at home. I bring my whole self to work today, and that is liberating. Something else you should know about me, I share about my recovery journey with anyone who will listen. And for those of you that hang out, I go to dinner, I'm like, I'm in recovery, I'm on the plane, I'm in recovery. So I tell everybody. And I want everyone to know that everything that I have done, the results that I have achieved, none of it is rocket science. I'm not that special, and can be done by anybody. I hope that with that hype, with the laughter, with our sober shenanigans that we generate with Glorious Recovery, we can inspire others to do the same. We're after the domino effect. We don't want to monopolize the event, industry. You have an event, let's go hang out. Like, we don't need to, own everything. We want to share information and inspire people, the masses of people. We want to knock down the obstacles, expand the community across the nation, raising our voices to build a movement where recovery is not just a point of pride, but it's actually a powerful source of joy. So a lot of people always say, thank you, Aleksa, for everything that you do. But thanks doesn't go to me. It goes to Paul. Do you know how much work it took to put this together? Oh my God, we've been meeting for 6 months on a weekly basis. The thanks goes to John. I mean, that man is on every single board that you can imagine. He is doing the impossible. He's changing drug court to recovery court. He's creating, Maggie, who's the chief, recovery officer. I mean, this man is like an innovator. And also things that he actually mentions, our silly tagline, recovery is the new cool, every chance that he gets. I mean, that when I feel defeated, when I'm hitting a roadblock at Lockheed Martin somewhere else, and it's like, oh my God, I want to do what Pride did in 2 months, not 20 years. That's me. And the thanks goes to you. You showed up here today. And there's many people who need us to raise our voice, to get a hug, to make them laugh. So with that, I'm going to end. The recovery is the new cool. And thank you, Paul, for the honor to be here behind the mic.
Thank you, Aleksa. I don't think I've ever met anybody more enthusiastic in my life as Aleksa. And again, I think her story speaks to another key component in recovery, which is gratitude and a sense of joy and showing people that recovery is fun. So again, I am honored to call Aleksa a friend and a colleague and keep up the great work with Glorious Recovery, because recovery is the new cool. So thank you for that.